Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 2A News with Craig DeLuz. I'm your host, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from Houston, Texas, where we are at NRA 2026, their annual meeting and exhibits. And as I've said many times yesterday and today, the best part about this is I get a chance to run into not just meet new friends, but get a chance to run into some old friends. And I feel bad calling them old, but I think, they're about my age, so I think it fits. Anyway, I want to welcome Mr. Kevin Dixie and Mr. Michael Sodini. I always see it, I said it before, and I'm always messing up people's names. But anyway, gentlemen, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Good to see good friends. Good to see people like you.
Yes.
The show is good. I like the vibe. I like H-Town. I love H-Town. I'm having a good time.
This is actually my first time here.
What?
Never been to Houston.
How's that even possible? The show's been here before. That's crazy.
Well, when I was with FPC and NRA didn't get along. So I never came during the entire time that I was with FPC.
Okay.
Then after I left FPC, well, COVID and wasn't doing a lot of shows. So really the last few years is about as much as I've been coming to NRA, and I've pretty much always enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a minute since I've seen you. Yeah, we're talking years.
Yeah, it has been. Well, pre-COVID.
Yeah,
I would say
exactly.
probably pre-COVID.
Yeah.
I've been going to SHOT, but SHOT's another one of those, you get stuck behind the interview booth. Like here, I made it a point. I said, look, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to get out. I'm going to go hang out. I'm going to do like 5 or 6 interviews, go out, hang out, and then come back and do a few more. Anyway, but having a good time, enjoying a lot of stuff. Got to admit, I saw this really cool knife, and I'm like trying to talk myself out of buying it, or try to talk myself into buying it. But I'm trying to imagine trying to explain to your wife that you bought a $900 knife.
Woo!
Right.
It was cool, like $90?
No,
okay,
no.
900?
Yeah, 90 I can do. 100 something I can do, but not 900. I can't do that. But it's a beautiful knife. But we're not here to talk about knives. What we're here to talk about is the work that you two gentlemen are doing.
Yeah. I would love Mike. I'm just, Mike's got a great heart and a great mind and doing great things. I would love for you to start talking about Walk the Talk.
Yeah, no problem. I love talking about it. I've been talking about Walk the Talk America all day long, so this is coming right, this is going to roll off easy. But Walk Talk America is the first and only pro-2A, no compromise mental health organization. At our core, we're suicide prevention, but basically any negative outcome of a firearm, we have a solution for it coming from the firearms industry. We don't want to compromise anybody's rights or belief systems. We want to bring up our own programs that tackle some of these issues. So, like I said, if you think of any negative outcome, whether that's inner city youth violence, whether that's negligence, right? That's domestic violence. Suicide. Suicide is the biggest issue that we have in the firearm space, right? That's when you think of the term gun violence. I hate that term because it's goofy, but it is what it is. But 2/3 of all gun death is suicide, so it's something that we need to pay attention to. So I'm here at this show, walking around, getting the manufacturers to get involved in any way they can to help support the work that we do. Walk the Talk America.
Excellent. So, what are some of the examples of some of the projects that you're working on?
So originally, our pilot project was getting free and anonymous mental health screenings in the boxes of firearm guns. Right? So we have about 25 different manufacturers that literally put, like companies like Ruger, Bersa, High Point, Canik, that put the free and anonymous mental health screenings in the boxes of guns. But it just kept growing after that, right? So we just started to look for new projects and things like this. And one of the things that I'm here with KD and I want to talk about is our Kids to Kings program, because I think there's nothing, I've never seen anything like it. And not only does it resonate with our community, the 2A community, but it really resonates with the research community and the behavioral health community, because a lot of these kids and I'm going to let you take it from here, but a lot of these kids that we're touching their lives, right? Like they've never been introduced to firearms in a healthy manner, and this is a way to do it, and also bring new up-and-coming shooters into the community, right? The people that are going to be in the culture and keep this going for us.
Yeah, so, and the Kids to Kings, so I'm the lead firearms coach, and kind of, I don't know, outside of that, As the kids call me, I'm the OG, right? I'm just an old head hanging around, making sure the structure of things are running well. But my primary focus is to make sure that their mentorship program is running well and running like it should be, and making sure that their firearms training curriculum is up to par, up to speed. They have all the latest skills. So with the Kids to Kings program, we want to take what guns have meant to these children and change that perspective, right?
Right.
But so many times we think about just placing a gun in a kid's hand from the pro gun side. Hey, put a gun in the kid's hand, take them out to the range, have them shoot a little bit, then they'll love it. Well, I haven't met many kids that don't like guns, period, no matter how they're using them, right? But what we wanted to do is not only give them a proper education so they don't misuse, so they can prevent accidents in their community, for they can become the future leaders, the future advocates, and everything like that, but we're also giving them more than the gun, right? And so with the program, for example, when they come out, they're out for an average of 4 hours, right, on a normal day. 2 hours is around firearms education. The other 2 hours is around self-development and career development, right? So we'll talk about de-escalation. We'll talk about reading, writing, financial literacy. They've taken classes on that. They've had exposure to different career fields. We've literally had real estate agents. I've had doctors. I literally had the stunt doubles from the Marvel movies come in and talk to them about stunt double careers in Hollywood. And then we've also had literally a Green Beret on site talking to the kids about the career in the military, right? So, and everything in between to give them the assistance, the guidance, the accountability. We teach them about accountability, right? Because, we got punishments, right, for wrong behavior. We have real conversations with them, and we're developing them not just to future leaders in the gun space, but future leaders that understand what guns mean, right? And so that's the Kids to Kings program, and we're catching them. And people hear it sometimes like, Kids to Kings, I want you to think mentality, right? A childlike mentality can be in a 45-year-old, right? But we're taking that childlike mentality and we're developing it into a king mentality, because what does a good king do? He protects everyone. Everyone under his leadership, he protects. A king is kind. A good king that's going to keep the support of the people is going to let them know that I will guide you, cultivate you, and protect you. If that means one day I'm making sure we can feed everybody, and the next day I'm cutting off the head of somebody that was trying to take everything from us, right? So we're taking them from a childlike mentality to a king-like mentality with the way that they treat themselves and the way that they treat people that are going to rely upon them later on in life. So that's the Kids to Kings program.
Wow. Now, how'd you come up with this?
So actually, it's the brainchild of Devin Perkins.
Okay.
Now my program that I founded, Aiming for the Truth, Devin will openly say this, is like, hey, I saw what you were doing for Aiming for the Truth, which had a lot of the same components, more general focus on community building. And he's like, well, what I want to do is I want to hyper focus on just young men. And so when he told me about the idea and he pitched the idea, we helped him get it started. And then he got the big support from Walk the Talk team, was like, no, we're absolutely going to push this forward. And then I just joined back into the space. And so now we're working as a collaborative team to make sure that we not only support him, talking about mentoring, right? He's a younger man that had an idea to help out these young kids. And so we're giving him the support that he needs to go out and be successful while supporting the program.
Now, off camera, before we came on, we were talking a little bit about training, and you were just talking about some concerns that you had about current day firearms training, and just wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of expound upon that.
Yeah, so in the firearms training space, we've had a problem, man. And it doesn't mean because Craig likes to zig and I zag, or we have a disagreement about philosophy. It's not that. Get over yourself. What I've noticed is that we have a lot of people cosplaying as instructors. And during I think the COVID era, we had these, internet celebrities that popped up in all kinds of genres because people were just on their phones all the time. And it's like, so I think people started abusing our space. And what they started doing is giving themselves these titles with no history, no credentials, no sweat equity, no nothing. Like, nobody even knows you. And so you're instructor this or you're instructor that, or I'm an instructor and I'm an instructor. And in the instructor space, it's like, before I ever decided to get on the internet and ever say, this is what I do, I was almost a decade in, learning from other people, right? Making my mistakes, cutting my teeth. And so it can be insulting to a lot of people that truly are professionals. You just decide yesterday, I had this happen, Greg. I had a guy come to my concealed carry class. Couldn't shoot. All right, my job is to get you there. I'm here to coach you up. I get him to pass the state qual. It's a state qual, so you can only imagine how easy it is. I get them to pass the state qual. 2 months later, I go into the range to take another group of students. This guy has instructor across his back, and he started a company and is teaching classes. You didn't know how to release a magazine from a firearm 2 months ago. Now you're teaching. So it's individuals like that. So for me, for anybody out there, I would like for you to start vetting your instructors. If somebody's going to tell you, I'm going to teach you a skill set to save your life, they should be able to withstand a 30-second interview.
Right.
Why? If you can't find it online, now a lot of stuff you can find online, but if you can't find it online, start asking people, why should I trust you to give me a skill set to save my life?
Right.
What have you been through? What have you seen? Who have you helped? How long have you been at it? Because we need to get the cosplayers out. And the reason is not because it's some professional jealousy. Right. The reason is because if your significant other or your daughter or your son goes somewhere and they receive training, you want to make sure that training is going to be beneficial to them.
Right.
Right? And these guys are out here and some of these girls are out here giving this instruction that's going to get people killed because they just don't know what they're doing.
Right. And people who don't know that they're getting bad instruction.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I've seen it. It's funny in places like California. It's like people assume that Craig knows a lot about guns. I always tell people I'm more of a gun policy nut than I am a gun nut. But what I do know is I do know enough to know if someone knows what they're talking about as an instructor. And the frustrating part is, like I said, when I first got into shooting, it was amazing how many people, like you said, they cosplay as instructors, and even if they don't call themselves instructors, it's kind of like, I hate to say this, it's like the guy at the gun counter who thinks he's an expert on gun law.
Yeah.
That's I kind of compare the two, because a lot of folks, once again, they don't know. But the problem is that if you're trying to learn, you don't know what you don't know. Mm-hmm. How do you know if this person is giving you good advice or bad advice? What I tell people is, find someone who you know, who's been experienced, and who do they use, right? Who do they go to, right? And like you said, vet those instructors, right? Get to know a little bit about them. Who are they certified through? And it seems like, I don't know if simply having being an NRA instructor, is that enough? Is it being a USCCA instructor? Is that enough? How do people know what is enough?
Yeah, don't worry about credentials.
Right.
And so here's the way I look at credentials. You can take a Navy SEAL, right? He can have a great skill set and all the plaques on the wall. Does not mean he's a good educator.
Right.
Right? He can do the thing.
Right.
He might not be able to coach the thing. And so if somebody runs up and they're like, hey, I got a wall full of certs. I'm a guy that has a lot of certs on this wall. They're not gun related, but I got a couple of certs that I took, just other genres of life. I used some things in I don't know how many years, right? So just because you have a certificate doesn't mean that you have the passion, the drive, or the skill set to teach the thing, right?
Right.
So yes, should you start off with somebody that has a certificate? I would say yes, and here's the one big reason. Not because of the cert, but because they probably have insurance. So I would say at least they're trying to be somewhat professional. But after that, no, you just need to make sure that they care and have a passion for what they're doing. Certificates are great, but if they don't have a passion, a care, and constant education and development after the cert, they're not going to do you any good. I mean, when was the last time the NRA updated their training regimen?
I have no idea. Right.
So, no, but if they can have the cert, but what kind of professional development have they been doing, right? If you can't, here's an easy way to ask. Hey, when was the last time you took a training class, and what did you learn? Ask them that.
Right. Good point.
Just ask them.
Because
if they say, I'm so busy being a trainer, I haven't, well, I can't trust that you have the latest and greatest information.
Right.
Or that you can debunk some of the things that are coming out now.
Right.
So, my answer to that, whenever my students ask me, I say, I train with outside instructors a minimum of once a quarter. It costs me about minimum about $5,000 a year, just in the baseline professional development, right? To make sure I'm up on par. I got to buy books, I got to read things, I got to study things to make sure. I have to challenge myself. I have to rewrite my own curriculum. I have to, does what I did in 2026 stand up in 2028, right? What are we looking at? So if they can't tell you they do those minimum things, and all they're doing is putting up pictures online of guns, I think the guy at the gun counter can do that.
Yeah, the guy at the gun counter probably can. How can folks follow your work? Start with you, Mike.
Go to our website at wtta.org or on social media, all platforms at WalkTheTalkUS.
Excellent. Mr. Dixie. How do I
Oh, I thought you said that's it. I'm like,
You're
girl, you
on.
just gonna cut me off?
No, I said Mr.
This is
Dixie.
Dixie, my bad. You can find me at nootherchoice.com. That's our website. You can also email us at info@nootherchoice.com. And on all social media platforms, it's The Real NOC.
The Real NOC. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
I hope
Thank you,
you
man.
have a successful rest of the conference.
Likewise, sir.
All right, folks, that's going to be it for this episode of 2A News with Craig DeLuz. We appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encourage your friends to do the same. We will be back later with more interviews from NRA 2026. Y'all take care.